What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 12 of the Black Massacre series, where today I will be discussing the Clinton Riot, or the Clinton Massacre of 1875. A riot turned massacre in Clinton, Mississippi in 1875 was one of the bloodiest episodes of racial violence and lynchings in state history and functioned as the beginning of the end of Reconstruction in the state. The Clinton Massacre of 1875 was the inaugural event to the infamous Mississippi Plan devised by white Democrats to quote-unquote redeem the state from the political control of newly enfranchised freedmen and the Republican Party during the 1875 election. It also served as the impetus for the issuance of President Ulysses S. Grant's controversial policy of federal non-intervention concerning matters of race in southern states, which eventually paved the way for the rise of Jim Crow laws and segregation. Freedmen first began voting in Mississippi in 1867, and the 1875 election promised to continue the incorporation of black men with the state's political process, with polls set to open on November 2nd, and the Mississippi's Republican Party planned political rallies on September 4th at Utica, in Clinton in Hinds County, and at Vernon in nearby Madison County. In Clinton, which is located less than 10 miles west of the state capital Jackson, whole families of black Republicans gathered at Moss Hill, the site of a former plantation destroyed by Union troops during the Vicksburg campaign of 1863. Estimates of the attendance that day range from 1,500 to 2,500, nearly all consisting of freed people and their families who gathered to enjoy an afternoon of picnicking and politics. There were also approximately 75 white persons present, at least 18 of whom were armed and intoxicated white liners, essentially a paramilitary unit of the Mississippi Democratic Party made up of ex-Confederate soldiers and their descendants. Aware of racial tensions, Republican Governor Albert Amos was initially scheduled to speak to the crowd, but Captain H.T. Fisher, a former Union officer and editor of a local Republican newspaper, spoke in place of the governor. In the spirit of open debate and to educate newly enfranchised voters on the election process, Hinds County Republican leaders issued an invitation to the local Democratic Party to send a speaker of their own to address the crowd first. Amos R. Johnston, the Democratic candidate for state Senate, spoke for an hour without incident. However, when Fisher took the platform next, he was heckled by white liners from Raymond. Republican organizers, including Black State Senator Charles Caldwell from Clinton, made several appeals for peace, yet the events of that afternoon quickly escalated into violence. Eugene Wellborn, another rally organizer, testified that the white liners fell into formation, brandished weapons, and trained them upon the crowd. The thing opened just like lightning, he recalled, and the shot rained in there just like rain from heaven. Fatalities that day numbered 3 whites and at least 5 blacks, 2 of whom were children. Sadly, the violence of September 4th merely served as a prelude to the racial massacre that was to come. Amidst false rumors of an African American plot to storm the town, Clinton's mayor called for assistance. Hundreds of white liners traveled by railroad to Clinton, and their numbers quickly swelled to several hundred before nightfall. They, as in the white liners, Wellborn grimly recalled, just hunted the whole country clean out. Just every black man they could see, they were shooting at him just the same as birds. Sarah Dickey, a white educator from Ohio who had moved to Mississippi to educate African American women and children, later described the scene in a letter to President Grant proclaiming, "I was at the Republican mass meeting held at this place, which is Clinton. The Democrats who were on the ground were there for the express purpose of creating disturbance and of killing as many as they could." You hear a great deal about the massacre at Clinton, but you do not hear the worst. It cannot be told. While the violence following September 4th resulted in no additional deaths of white Democrats, the African American death toll was estimated to be between 35 and 50, with the names of many of black victims never being recorded. William P. Haffa, a white Republican from Pennsylvania and running for re-election as Justice of the Peace, was also lynched. Despite countless requests for federal assistance by Governor Amos and other citizens like Wellborn and Dickey, President Grant declared on September 13th that the whole public are tired out with these annual autumnal outbreaks in the South, and subsequently adopted a policy of non-intervention with respect to the state of Mississippi and the rest of the former Confederacy. Despite the dozens of victims in September, the reign of terror in Clinton was not yet complete as the year came to a close. Nearly 2 months after the November 2nd election, which effectively ended Reconstruction in Mississippi, the white Democrats of Clinton lured Senator Caldwell into the cellar of a local store under the pretense of sharing drinks during the Christmas season. When men glasses were struck in toast, Caldwell was shot through the window of the store cellar. Upon being shot, he was taken outside to die in the street. As he lay dying, a white pastor reported that Caldwell confronted his assassins with his last words saying, "Remember, when you kill me, that you kill a gentleman and a brave man. Never say you killed a coward. I want you to remember it when I am gone." Well, that is going to conclude this week's episode of the Black Massacre series. If you would like to catch up or just get a refresher, I do have a Black Massacre series playlist right there. You can catch up on all the episodes that I have done so far, or just rewatch them just because you feel like rewatching them. Make sure to stay tuned and locked in, as we will be back this time next week with episode 13 of the Black Massacres series. Be safe and be one.